Hey everyone, it's Mike Bond with Smart with Debt, and one of the biggest questions that come up is how fast can I get out of debt? Remember, we're all about getting into good debt, cheap debt, the best debt you could get into. So the first question I always ask is, where are you starting from? Because here are different starting points that we see all the time. Let's say someone has $40,000 in debt and they're trying to get out of it. How fast can I get out of it? Just depends on where we start, because some people start with a higher interest rate, meaning every year, just say first year, they're starting with about $9,600 just in interest payments. Someone else is starting with 16%. So they're starting at 6,400. You can see there's over $3,000 difference per year that's just going out to the banks, making a big difference from 96 to 64. And there's other people who are starting out at 8%. So they're at $3,200, a third of what these people are starting out at. So it all depends on where you're starting at. These people just in interest are paying $800 in interest alone per month during that first year. Now these people paying a little bit less, $534 in interest. So you can see there's 200 and some dollars extra that these people could be putting against that debt to get out of debt faster, just because of where their starting point is. And our whole point when we're going through this is we want to change your starting point. We want to change where you start the process of either getting out of debt or just paying less for debt. And third, the people down here are paying about $267 a month in interest. You can see starting point matters so much. From here to here, over $500 difference per month is just going to the bank instead of repositioning it. So my first thing always is this: can we reposition these people from here to here, go from a credit card, a traditional credit card, down to a home equity loan? Because this starting point is going to help us figure out how fast we could get out of debt. The same could be true of maybe we can't get down, maybe we don't qualify for a home equity loan, but maybe we could get a better, cheaper credit card or personal loan from a credit union. So even from going from here to here, saving that $3,200 and putting it back into our principal or just back into our lives instead of the banks, puts us in a better position to get this paid off quicker, faster, and that's what comes up. So if you're just paying, if you have this $40,000 on credit cards and you're just going to pay them the minimum you have to pay, which is usually interest plus 1% of the principal of the 40,000, it's going to take you about 25 years to pay that off, and it's going to be about 3 times this amount that you're going to pay over time. So you can see that kind of eats away at you for years. Now down here, if you went from a Chase credit card, Wells Fargo credit card to maybe a personal line with a credit union or a credit card, because a lot of credit cards with credit unions, you could get 14 to 16% out there if you have good credit in your shopping, just moving it down to this, this level. And getting down to here, instead of paying 3x, you're paying just a little over 2x. Instead of close to 120, you're paying, a little over 90,000. Still a lot, but it's a lot less that's coming back into your life over that time. And it's going to take you about a year or two less to pay it off. So you're going to get another year or two back into your life. Now, if we could reposition you down to a home equity loan and you could get down to 8% with the same amount, you could be out of this in 5 years and just pay, just under $49,000. So 49,000 compared to a little over around 90,000 compared to, close to 120. It all depends on where you start. And when I say where you start, it's what your interest rate is and how you can reposition that down to a better interest rate. Just even think about this. There's a lot of people out there, not everyone, there's a lot of people out there, number one, who has a home, so you could do this. And this home equity loan, fixed home equity loan, is so much better than refinancing, because you're just taking your small amount and fixing it instead of bringing in your whole mortgage, which is in a good position, probably at 3 or 4%, and bringing it up to today's rate. So in today's market, always better to look at the home equity loan. But how about those people could actually go to 0% cards? There's even another layer down here. 0% cards, we know if you transfer balances, are not really 0%. They're typically around 4%. So even this, if this was 4%, $1,600 a year, first year, you could say Right here, you're saving over 8 grand a year in interest. Yeah, you'd have to keep doing that every year, 18 months, depending on what those 0% cards are. But even if you did a 1 year and you saved $8,000, this balance is going to go down very fast. So remember, if you're trying to get or figure out how do I get out of debt fast, the first thing you need to look at is where you're at. Everyone has a little bit different, starting point. Understand what you're going up against. You're going up against banks who are looking to, get as much out of this as they can. At least most. I mean, credit unions are great institutions out there that you could find some that you're going to get better rates even on credit cards. But you want to reposition your debt first, so it gives you a little bit more hope, a little bit more energy to get going, because someone starting here compared to here just has a little bit easier chance to get out of debt fast so they can enjoy life more. And might not even want to get out in 5 years. Maybe they'll get out in 10, still cut the time in half, but have more money in their life because the difference here is going into their life instead of the banks. So first step when you're looking at how fast can I get out of debt is your starting point. What is your starting point and how can you change that starting point? How can you change it even, from here to here, but hopefully from here to here or even to 0% cards? Let's change your starting point so you can get out of debt fast, enjoy life a little bit more. Smart with Debt is all about keeping more of your money, giving the banks less. So we want to make sure you reposition before you even start looking at getting out of debt. So take personal inventory. We have some great calculators at Smart with Debt. Check them out, and we'll catch you on the next video.